Welcome back to Super Important Reviews. My name's Steve, and I'm not feeling good. And also, I have a boo-boo. But the show must go on, so if I sniffle sometime randomly during this video, I apologize in advance. But today I'll be going over the Playmates Classic Collection Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 Movie Edition. I'm going to be starting my review off of Raph and Leonardo. Originally, I actually wanted to do all four of the figures just in one review, but realized it was going to be a fairly lengthy video, so we're going to do them by twos to shorten them up because I really didn't want to do one at a time because it gets kind of repetitive doing each of the turtles because there's not too much variation with them. So we're going to set it up like this. And for starters, this movie was my childhood. This is actually my preferred version of the Turtles over the 1988 cartoons, just because it was the original. It's the first movie that I actually remember going to see in the theater. I think my official first one was The Land Before Time, but yeah, I don't remember that. And personally, I love the Muppet Turtles. I think he did a fantastic job of these guys in the film and really helped to portray these guys as actual characters and real life people. Even though, granted, I get that they have flaws with the costumes and the movie's not perfect, but it's still by far my favorite comic book movie as of right now. Just because it's pretty much everything I ever wanted in one of the movies. Like, I love the characters, the acting's good, the story was good. It's just the perfect comic book movie for me. And I decided to go with Raph and Leonardo for my first video just because of their dynamic from the movie, with Raph not really appreciating Leo bossing him around, which eventually led to him getting beat up by the foot soldiers and him face down in a bathtub with Leo mourning on the chair. And there's just overall chemistry from the film. But enough about that. For the packaging, I still actually have the original classic collections in their package, so I'll compare that in just a second. But for these ones, I actually would have really loved to this be a lot more reminiscent of the original movie. Like maybe having the poster from it instead of the more cartoony background. And then the logo is more from the new animated series, so that's a little off to me anyways. But I do really love the way that they got the turtles with the film reel coming across here. And especially on the back here, you see a lot more of it. And it shows more of the classic collections that's already been released with the 1988 versions and Bebop and Rocksteady. And then bring it a little closer if you guys want to read the bio real quick. Alright, we good? Alright. And then getting Raph out of here for a second because his is pretty much the exact same. And then bringing in the classic collection Leonardo, you can see the difference between the two in the packaging, with this one being a lot more reminiscent of the cartoon, which is why I really love this package. I still actually have them in it. While his is not, it's more just like mixed between the cartoon and the new style. And I just really would have loved it if they just would have kept the overall vibe of the original movie with that. But it is what it is, and it makes it a lot easier for me to open it over this guy. I love this packaging. But enough about that. Let's get him open up out of his plastic prison. Alright, so first we're going to go over their accessories, starting with their sewer plate display stands, which overall I think turned out really nice, and I overall like the amount of detailing on these. And I really do love that they have the original turtle emblems, so it's a lot more reminiscent of like what you see from at the beginning of the Turtles where the intro label comes up and this is what shows up. So that's really nice, and I'm glad that they didn't end up using the new turtle logo just because that would have been a little weird. But these are pretty much the exact same thing as you got with the classic collection. It's just actually what's really weird is that they have a lot of uneven tones between the two of them, because here you see that it's like a really nice black wash over it. Well, this one, the wash actually didn't come across as good, where it's more of like a dark gray. And then there's not really much of it down here, so it's not very even looking, which is a little bit ugly. But then again, if you see these actually in the real world, none of the sewer plates you're ever going to come across are going to look the exact same because of the weathering and whatnot. So, like, I get it. And it might be a quality control thing, or they might have meant to do that on purpose, but at least it kind of gives it a little bit more difference between the two and their sewer plates, other than just having their names on it. So I guess that's a little bit of a positive, but personally I would have liked to have seen a little bit more consistency between these two. And then also what you see is if you really don't like these, they actually stand very nice by themselves. But with the pegs here, when you put them on it, you can kind of get them doing random ninja poses and stuff like that, which they actually stay on there very nicely, which is a really big bonus for that. But if you want to have them do like random karate poses and stuff, it gives you a nice option for that nonetheless. And then starting with its accessories, we'll start with Raph's here with his size, which actually have this nice silver paint on the blades here. And I have this brown wrap down here for the handles, which these actually turned out really nice, and they just go up here for his weapon storage on his waist, which is also really nice that they have these because, again, in the movies you kind of see him hanging there. But also, it's something weird that I shouldn't have to point out, but like, it's with the newer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the movie where they didn't actually have the weapon storage, and that was a little bit of a bummer. I'm really glad that these actually have them. And then for Leonardo, he comes with his sheath here, which is just more of the brown bandaging right here with the rope kind of tying them together. And then for his two katanas, these actually turned out really nice, I think, because it might come across a little hard on the camera here, but the paint isn't very even on the blades here with the silver painting. It kind of gives it this nice weathered look, like the way you'd see like a katana or something made out of like stainless steel, just not being taken well care of, and it gets kind of an uneven tone throughout it. And it actually shows up on these blades here, so personally I think that's actually really awesome. And then it just has more of the standard brown bandage wrap down here. And then sticking it back in the sheath here. And this comes unattached on off Leonardo in the packaging, so what you're going to want to do is there's a peg here, peg hole here on the back of the shell, with the waistband here. And you just stick it right in the back here, which is also really nice because this actually stays in there very securely, while also giving it a little bit of play, so in case it fell, you won't have to worry about the peg breaking or whatnot. So overall, their accessories, I think they actually turned out really nice, even though the sewer platings, I really would like to see a little more consistency, but personally, I think they really look nice nonetheless. And then get into details a little bit, which getting Raphael off his stand. Personally, on the majority of all the turtles, I really love the head sculpts on these. And they definitely give off that Jim Henson suit vibe. And overall, the paint job on here is really nice. One thing that I really would have loved to have seen on a lot of these turtles, though, is maybe a little bit more play on the eyes here instead of just having the white on here. Which, personally, on Raph, it doesn't look all that bad. Which, we'll get to Leo in a second, but it's just, it would have been nice to maybe have them look a little more human than more cartoony. I guess is the best way for me to put it. But also on the body, I really love the way the muscle definition came out of here. Especially with the giant elbow pads here. And it's just, the way the overall mold on this guy is, it turned out really nice. And again, it's just really reminiscent of the old Jim Henson outfit. And it just kind of gives it more of a realistic look to it, I think. And also, compared to the regular classic collections and a lot of like the animated turtles and whatnot, like these guys are definitely a little bit more of a darker tone. And one thing I would have maybe really liked to have seen on these, even though personally I think the paint job on here is really nice, especially with the way the shell came out up front, especially on the back here. Like it even has like little scratches in here on the shells and stuff. But I really would have maybe liked to see a little bit more of like a black wash on here to show off the muscle definition a little better. And also, one thing that is pretty blatantly missing on these guys is at least what I would call their freckles, where they have like little black spots throughout of them, and pretty much all the turtles had them. And it's just one thing that to me just seems like it's just really missing on these guys. And especially in terms of the detail, especially on Raphael, because personally, next to out of these two guys at the moment, he definitely probably has my favorite of the head sculpts, because he just kind of got this sneering grin right here. And he's, just in terms of details, pretty much almost perfect for me. It's just, I really would have liked to have seen the freckles. But that's pretty much it for Raph. Then getting it for Leo. Overall, I don't think there's too much difference here between each of their body types. because the way their arm molds and stuff look, like they're pretty much all the same with the elbow pads. And they got the little flap here on the wrist. Same with the knee pads, so there's not too much difference here between the bodies. Actually, getting this is off. I even think, yeah, even the shells between the both of them are the same because they have these same scratches throughout them. Because up top here, same scratch here, same scratch here, same scratch here. So now actually looking at that, that's a little bit of a bummer. Because it kind of takes away a little bit of the individuality between them. Because the only real difference between these two guys then is the head sculpt on here and then the pretty much their weapon storage on him, because he has his for his swords and his for his size. So that's actually a little bit of a bummer now that I look at that. But still overall I think it works, because even in the original movie there wasn't really too much of a difference between each of the turtles other than just the way their faces look to me. The one thing that's really weird on Leo, though, is he's got this, like, angry looking grin, which I'm not sure if it's just supposed to be, like, intimidating, like, grrr, or he's scared out of his mind. Like, Shredder's coming, and he's just like, eeh, like when he's about to get stabbed by his little spear thing, and everybody's, like, throwing their weapons off the roof. Like, he kind of has that look like, oh, crap. So, it's not a bad look, and I never really hated it. The only thing is, again, is just on the eyes here, I wish they were just a little bit more human looking and maybe just had a little bit more detail to them. And I think that would have really helped me a lot, even with the angry, scared grin here. And then same thing I mentioned with Raph, just the black wash with the freckles would have been really nice. But still, overall in detail, even though they're pretty much the exact same body mold between the two, just difference between the head and the weapon storage, I still think in terms of that, they look really, really nice. And to me, if they would have had the freckles between the two of them and maybe a little more of a black wash, they would have been about 100%, just 10 out of 10, snap by. But I still would give them pretty much a 9 out of detail. Like, there's not too much I can really complain about other than that. So with our articulation, we're going to start with Leo. Well, I'm really going to be going over Leo because he has the exact same articulation as he does. But one thing I want to point out is that on some of the figures, I've noticed that they have really stiff joints. So when you get them out of the package, you're going to have to really work with them. And on Raph, it wasn't so bad. While on Leo, like, his shoulder joints really didn't want to move. Like, I can get him to rotate really easy, but moving up and down was a little bit of a pain. And even after working in it, it's still really stiff, which I guess is a little bit of a positive because he's going to hold his pose very well. But especially on this shoulder here, on mine it seems more like a ratchet joint, where it will randomly just start as I'm moving down. You can see it jerks a little bit, and that's just where it sits into place because, I don't know, there's an extra bit of plastic in there or something. And then it pops back out and keeps going down. So that's a little odd, but I really noticed it on him. So again, just when you get him out of the packaging, especially like his fingers too, I had to really mess with to get him to pose really well because you have to work him in. But starting with his head, it's on a ball joint, so you can pretty much get it going all the way around, looking up in different poses. So that's really nice. His shoulders on pig joints, so they go up and down, all the way around. It's rotation here at the bicep. Double joint here at the elbow, so you get a lot of bendability to that, which is really, really nice. And he has a rotation here at the hand. Also a little bit of a bend there, but not too much. And then each of his fingers are individually posable. Just with his thumb here can go all the way around. Both his fingers can go forward, then back. So that's really nice, because you have him kind of do like high fives or having more of a punch pose. And I know initially when I was looking at these, it didn't look like he would be able to hold his weapon very well, because it just seemed really odd looking to me. But even getting them in, like, they hold them surprisingly very well when you get them in there. It's just sometimes you gotta play with it a little bit. Get it squish it a little more. And there we go. And then he's holding it very nicely. Doesn't go flopping out of there, so that's really good. And then at his waist, well, kind of at his chest, I guess, he has a crunch here, a little bit of a rotation. And then at his legs here, have a nice range of motion up here. He also has a swivel here at the upper part of his thigh, which is a little weird. And it's not easy to get to move sometimes. Sometimes you gotta press your thumb on it to get to rotate. Which is the only real joint on here that just seems like it really didn't need to be there. Like, it's nice for extra posability, but it kind of makes the figure look a little bit ugly in my opinion. Or at least in right there. Then he has a double joint at the knee, so a lot of bend there. Even coming forward, which is really terrifying looking. Then also has a bend at the ankle right here. And as you can see right there, he has articulation at his toes, so you kind of get him standing back and stuff like that, so that's a really nice touch. And overall on the articulation on these guys, it's just insane at how much posability you get with these guys. And just one thing that just makes these things really, really desirable for me, especially for being a turtle collector. Because I know on my stuff personally, I really have probably the most fun with these things, just displaying them on my shelves and putting them in random poses. And these guys are really going to help satisfy that craving. So here's 1990s Raph and Leo compared next to their new movie counterparts. So here's 1990s Raph and Leo compared next to their original action figures, which one thing that's really odd is just the color difference between all these figures, because in these ones, they actually look a lot the same in terms of color, because literally the exact same molds for the most part. While the original ones are actually really dark for this version of Leo, and then this Raph is actually really bright in comparison. And I know I'm cheating a little bit, but here's the 1990s Raph and Leo compared next to the original Classic Collection figures. So overall with Raph and Leo here, I still think they turned out amazing. Even though with their inconsistency with their display stands, they have a little bit of tough joints on them, but that's kind of debatable if that's actually really good or bad anyways. And then missing their, what I would consider their iconic freckles. I still think in the detail part, even without the freckles, they still turned out amazing. And I still really highly recommend anybody that is a big fan of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, or just turtles in general, like, these guys are well worth the price, and they sit at around 20 bucks if you find them at Toys R Us, and that's what I picked them up for. So you can get the entire set for about $80, which I think if you guys see these in the store, you definitely should snap by them. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like the 1990s Turtle movie? Do you guys like the Classic Collection line? Are you guys just not a big fan of Muppets? Please let us know in the comments. If you want to see closer pictures of these guys, look on my Facebook. If you want to click the link in the description below. Please don't be afraid to share this video around, and if you like this and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.